Hey, it's Ricky Bo. This is Ricky's Mailbag, where you send in questions. I try to answer them about the Phillies as well as I can. Now, Dylan McKinnon is my guy here. He's our producer in here, and he's going to read out the questions. But first, you can catch me, Silvana Kelleher, Bill Colarulo on Unfiltered. It's 2 to 6, Monday through Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Don't forget to subscribe and like. You could also get all the other shows here on The Fanatic right there. Dylan.
Okay, this one is from David. Which of the Phillies' three main starters is having the most impressive season?
Most impressive. Oh, all right, let's start with Zach Wheeler. Is his season impressive? Yes. But does that impress you? The answer would probably be no. Why? Because he's been consistent like that for, 5 years now. And I don't think anything surprises me about him. I think he's going to be and will always be a contender for the Cy Young each and every year. So that's not surprising. Ranger Suarez, on the other hand, he was 10-1 last season. So are we that surprised about that one either? No. I think we got to go to Christopher Sanchez. I mean, talk about a guy who's been extremely consistent, a guy who just kind of just pitches his way through everything. And talk about his contract, maybe one of the best contracts the Phillies ever signed, at least in this point in it. The one thing about Christopher Sanchez, he is so tall and he releases the ball so close to home plate that I think there's got to be a lot of guessing by the hitters up there, because if they're guessing wrong and he's throwing that changeup, he could be absolutely filthy. And to go even further, I mean, consistency is one thing, but being able to grow every single start, I think that's where he has gotten to. As a matter of fact, I almost put him very close to equal with Zach Wheeler this year. Talk about a guy who's sitting with a 2.4 ERA right now, and he's just been dominant. It's not even funny. And the greatest thing about him, he keeps the ball on the ground. In his last start, he had 13 ground ball outs to go with, I believe it was 12 strikeouts. That's 25 of 27 outs that did not go up in the air. The other two outs were a weak, broken bat, humpback line drive to the third baseman, and a weak fly ball to center field. I mean, that's the type of guy you want on your team. That's the type of guy that you want pitching for you. I would say the biggest improved guy on the team for 100% sure. And I just think he's one of those guys that is turning into an ace before our eyes.
Okay, Wayne wants to know, is Bryce Harper officially back?
Is he back? I love that comment. You know how many people say the Phillies are back, Bryce is back? Yeah, I think he is. The way he's been hitting the baseball, the one thing that we saw from Bryce, especially early on in the season, he wasn't hitting for power. He wasn't slugging the baseball. What he was doing, he was getting on base, but it wasn't the Bryce Harper that we know and love. Now all of a sudden he's hitting some home runs, going gap to gap. Using the whole field is my biggest thing, because when your focus is up the middle at the pitcher, what's going to happen? You're not going to get many pitches right down the middle. If you do, those are the balls you probably hit out of the ballpark, the mistakes by the pitchers. It's the ones that are inside, outside that, number one, if they're coming inside to him, he's hitting the ball down the right field line and he's getting a bunch of doubles that way. The other thing is he's going into the gaps, which means middle in, he's using the right center field gap. Middle away, he's going left center field gap. What else does that do? It puts you under pressure defensively, because you can't really place any shifts on a guy like Bryce Harper right now. Maybe infield-wise you can a little bit, but then he'll take that ball on the outside corner and just flick it to left through the vacated hole on the left side. I would say he's definitely back. I mean, I think the power is what's going to tell you if he's back or not. And as of right now, after the All-Star break, I would say he's officially back.
Okay, Soren wants to know, if the Phillies don't add another bat, can they win a World Series?
You know what's odd? You bring up the bat. I believe they need another bat, I'm not going to rule out the World Series. Why? Because look at their starting pitching. If the bullpen gets some help, that really solidifies 9 innings of baseball every day. So how much does that offense actually need to do come playoff time if your starters are still going at a very high level? I mean, that's a very big if. These guys have been going pretty strong for a good 2.5, 3 months right now, and they've been the stars of this team pretty much all season long. Can they hold it up? Can they hold the fort down? That's yet to be seen. I think it would behoove the Phillies to go get a big bat, to get somebody who could hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think that's always a bonus. But I don't love what I'm seeing from the bottom of the order, and that's their job to kind of flip the lineup and make sure that you see more of Turner and Schwarber and Harper in the ball game. If they're not doing their jobs, it's going to be limited runs scored.
Okay, Chris wants to know: is there a trade where you would give up Andrew Painter?
I think the only way I would do that is to the A's. I think the whole Rooker and Brent Rooker and Miller would be something that I would be into to give up some prospects, especially my top prospect. If you give up Andrew Painter, you're probably not going to have to give up too much more on the back end. But what you do have is a guy that the Phillies really like, a guy that's still a top prospect in everybody else's eyes. So, I mean, to get rid of him, I think it would have to be a pretty big deal, and it would have to be something that you're really comfortable with. And you look at Rooker, you look at Miller, Mason Miller for the A's, and the one thing that you do have is years. You don't have to necessarily get rid of those guys after the season. So it would be a big bat in a Phillies lineup that could hit the ball out of the ballpark, and a stone cold type reliever that has ice in his veins. So I think something like that I may go for. I don't know if there's a lot of other trades where the Phillies would be even willing to think about getting rid of Andrew Painter.
Okay, this is from the fan stand at Cherry Hill Mall. Should Andrew Painter be brought up and used from the bullpen?
That's an interesting thing. I think the fans have got to take a step back on Andrew Painter right now. Here's the thing: Andrew Painter was a guy that came up through the minor league system, never really failed. I mean, when you think about it, you're a number one pick. How much could you have failed in high school? Probably not at all. The guy's probably had a very much of a lack of failure. And when you start to fail, what's the first thing you need to do is make adjustments. How many adjustments do you really think that Andrew Painter has made throughout his career? Probably not a lot, with the exception of maybe having to change a few things when he came back from his elbow surgery. So I need to see him pitch better in AAA, even to make his way back up to the big leagues. He's still young. You don't want to force him. And I don't have a huge problem throwing him into the bullpen, but not all starters are built for that. And the biggest issue I would have is that he did have Tommy John surgery. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. Do you want to kind of abuse him as a pitcher out in the bullpen like that? Or would you rather just wait till next year? I think a lot of that has to do with who and what they can get in here by the trade deadline.
Okay, and then finally, Steve has a fake trade for you to see what your thoughts on it would be. Would you give up Aiden Miller, Mick Abel for Stephen Kwan and Emmanuel Clase?
I love Clase. Stephen Kwan's a good player. Does that weigh it down? I think it might. Mick Abel is not, to me right now, Mick Abel is a guy that they brought up to the big leagues because they wanted to trade him. Aiden Miller, he didn't get off to a good start down in AA, and he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's floundering, but it's one of those things where, he's just not completely where everybody wants him to be. Once again, young, youth. You can't try to force these guys. But I would definitely think about making that type of trade. Clase would shore up your bullpen for sure, and I think that's the biggest thing that Dave Dombrowski wants, is to really get a bullpen where he doesn't have to worry about it anymore and doesn't have to think about, is Jordan Romano going to go out there and give up the game today, or is he going to come in with a lights-out performance? You don't want that. What you want is consistency out of your bullpen. You go get another high-leverage reliever. I think that helps everything. I actually kind of like the trade. I don't think on either end that I would be really nervous about trading either one of those guys. You got to understand they're prospects. That doesn't mean they're major league all-stars at this given time. And you don't know if they're ever going to be. You can go back to the Kyle Drabeck thing and you'll remember. Just go take a look at that. And it kind of all played itself out, and it played itself out well for the Phillies. So there you have it. This is Ricky's Mailbag. You could like and subscribe right down here. Also, you can catch me, Silvana Kelleher, and Bill Colarulo on Unfiltered, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. See you there.
What's up, everybody? It's Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we post a ton of content. It's not just what you hear on air. We're posting content all day long. We do some things before the show, after the show, even stuff during the show. So subscribe, like, do whatever you got to do. We got all this content coming to you every single day.